All right, let's jump right into it. Now I have to tell you, this story made me laugh so hard. It made me laugh so hard. I remember like finding this story or like reading it as I was laying in bed on Monday night, and I just couldn't stop laughing. So, Texas has passed this abortion law. I am not in favor of the Texas law. I am pro-choice. I am pro-choice with limits. I believe first trimester with exceptions for rape, incest, life of the mother, that sort of thing. I don't believe in going much beyond that. I don't believe there's much reason to go beyond that. I believe abortion is sad. I believe safe, legal, and rare is a pretty good standard. I believe the Democrats have gone off into crazy town on this issue. I am not in favor of a lot of the things that the Democrats are doing. I'm not in favor of women celebrating their abortions. I'm not in favor of women live streaming their abortions. I think that's really sick and twisted. It should be the hardest decision that anyone ever makes. But the fact of the matter is that at 6 weeks, many women don't know they're pregnant at 6 weeks for many reasons that men usually don't understand, even though they think that they do. So I'm actually not in favor of the Texas abortion law at all. However, I do not believe that necessitates cutting off trade. Can we just talk about the hilarity of just this headline for a minute? Portland to cut trade travel with Texas amid abortion outrage. Yes, I completely believe that Texas is going to be so devastated over people from Portland not wanting to go to Texas to eat barbecue. I know that Texas is just they don't know what to do with this revelation that Portland, Oregon doesn't like them. Let's read. Let's read. The city of Portland, Oregon announced that it intends to ban trade and travel to the state of Texas in response to the Lone Star State's new abortion law. I'm sorry, how can Portland ban travel to Texas? Like you go to the here's how you travel to Texas from Portland. You go to the airport, you get on a plane, you go to Texas. It's not that hard. It is not something that Portland can ban you from doing. Mayor Ted Wheeler announced on Friday that the city council intends to vote on an emergency resolution Wednesday to stop the city's future procurement of goods and services from and city employee business travel to the state of Texas. Why are Portland city employees traveling to Texas for business? That's not happening. I challenge that. I challenge the very premise of that. There is absolutely no reason for employees of the city of Portland to travel to Texas on business. And I strongly doubt that the city is procuring goods and services from Texas. I want an inventory. I want an inventory of every single thing that Portland is currently giving to Texas or buying from Texas, because I'm going to bet that it's a whole lot of nothing. The resolution will be in effect until Texas ends the law or it is overturned. It is not exactly clear what such a ban would look like. I'm sure that Texas is just devastated by the loss of employees of the city of Portland, Oregon, visiting their state and, doing whatever people do in Texas. City Legal Counsel is currently evaluating the legal aspects of this proposed resolution. The Portland City Council stands unified in its belief that all people should have the right to choose if and when they carry a pregnancy, and the decisions they make are complex, difficult, and unique in their circumstances. The new law, Texas Law SB 8, was signed by Governor Greg Abbott in May, went into effect last week after the Supreme Court declined to hear the case, blah, blah, blah. We already know about the law. And I think the law is kind of, again, there are a lot of problems with this law, to be honest. I don't care how pro-choice or how pro-life you are. There are actually a lot of problems with this law in real life. But, I don't think those problems are going to be taken care of by the state of Texas being boycotted by the city employees of Portland, Oregon. The law rewards private individuals for exercising surveillance and control over others' bodies. It violates the separation of church and state. I wouldn't go so far as to say that. It will force people to carry pregnancies against their will, the council's statement said. Portland City Council stands with the people who may one day face difficult decisions about pregnancy, and we respect their right to make the best decision for themselves. Is anyone from Texas in the chat? I'm just curious. Is anyone from Texas in the chat? I'm live streaming right now on Facebook, on YouTube, on Rockfin, on Odyssey. Is there anyone from Texas watching currently? And if there is someone from Texas watching currently, I would like your opinion on whether or not you are going to be crying into your pillow at night over the loss of the Portland City Council. Yeah, Justin's representing Texas. Yeah. And listen, man, like I'm not Texas has its problems. Let's just be honest. Like Austin is totally gentrified. I was attacked by Black Lives Matter in Dallas. I don't exactly have fond memories from Texas. But if I had to choose between the two, I would choose Texas every day of the week because Texas, at least you don't pay income tax. And, yeah, Justin is crying. Justin is absolutely devastated at the fact that he will not have Portland City employees visiting his city and eating barbecue. Oh, Portland. Yeah, Samuel, I am on Odyssey. I'm live streaming on Odyssey right now. You can find me there anytime I'm live streaming on YouTube. Almost anytime. I'm also live streaming on Odyssey. Our motto is don't mess with Texas. Yes, you got a good motto, Judy. You don't have as good a motto as the state of New Hampshire, though. And we are actually going to be talking about New Hampshire's state motto a little later on in the stream today. It's funny because before I came up here to do this stream, Victor and I were sitting down to eat lunch, and I turned on this season of Top Chef because I'd never watched it. It's completely over now, but I was starting with episode 1 from the beginning, and they were in Portland, Oregon, and the very first thing that the guest judge said is like, "We are the front lines of racial justice in Portland." And I was like, I yelled at the TV. I was like, "That's because Antifa is burning down your city. You are only at the front lines of racial justice because Antifa is burning down your city. This is not something to brag about." Portland. I'm never going to be able to go to Portland again in my life. Maybe not in my life. Maybe that's a little bit hyperbolic, but I actually don't feel safe going to Portland right now. And that makes me really sad because last time I was in Portland, I really enjoyed it. There was good beer. There was good food. I thought it was like kind of a unique, quirky atmosphere. Now, never again. Never again, sadly. Tune in, drop out. Thank you for the super chat. What was your take on George W.'s speech yesterday? Did you believe he was referring to January 6 participants when he was talking about domestic terrorists? To be really honest, that is a great question. I haven't watched his speech yet. I really wasn't watching a lot of 9/11 stuff yesterday, to be honest. It would make me, I'm sorry, like he's one to talk. I'm sorry, if W, and I'd be interested to know what people in the chat think of this because again, I just don't have the reference for it yet. But if W was talking about January 6 participants as domestic terrorists, W needs to sit the F down. I censored myself there just in case people have kids around. But he needs to sit the F down. I'm sorry. That man started 2 unnecessary wars that went on, the last one for 20 effing years. He doesn't get to have an opinion on this, so far as I'm concerned. All right, that's Portland. Next up